In this politician's inaugural address, he described the mystic chords of memory and the better angels of our nature. This politician gave a speech at Cooper Union and earlier stated that a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Abraham Lincoln.
Quizbowl is a team-based competition in which players answer questions on a variety of academic subjects in a fun, competitive setting.
These proteins have variable regions which are highly specific for particular epitopes. IgE and IgM are examples of these proteins.
Antibodies?
In this video, we will explain the basics of how a Quizbowl match works. Each match features two teams playing against each other, and each team may have up to 4 players. There are 2 types of questions, toss-ups and bonuses.
This poet imagined a firearm with a Vesuvian face and a poem comparing her life to a loaded gun. Another of her poems is set in a carriage that held but just ourselves in immortality.
Emily Dickinson?
Toss-ups are paragraph-long questions that are read until a player buzzes in and provides an answer. A correct answer to a toss-up scores 10 points for the team. But on a very good buzz early in the question,
The garrison dams blocking of this river form the Lake Sakakawea Reservoir.
Missouri River?
15.
you can earn 15 points instead of 10 by buzzing in before a designated mark in the toss-up. However, an incorrect answer before the end of the toss-up will lose your team 5 points.
A leader of this city went into exile for 10 years and traveled across Egypt and Anatolia after enacting his reforms.
Sparta?
Sorry, -5.
Not only does your team lose 5 points, but they are now locked out of answering until the next toss-up. In other words, each team is only allowed 1 buzz per toss-up.
This city's legislative council was expanded to 500 men by Cleisthenes. The 30 tyrants ruled this city after it was defeated by Lysander. This city's debt slaves were freed by Solon, who reformed the laws set forth by Draco. For 10 points, name is democratic Greek city-state.
Athens.
10 points.
There is no penalty for an incorrect answer after the other team has buzzed in incorrectly or after the toss-up is done being read. If the player had answered instead,
Thebes.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect, but no penalty. The correct answer is Athens.
the player's answer was incorrect, but the other team had already been penalized, so they don't lose 5 points. The second type of question used in a standard match is the bonus. A team that successfully answers a toss-up will receive a bonus, which usually consists of 3 questions on related topics. All members of the team work together to answer the bonus.
Austria between 1986 and 1992.
Of all time, I think.
Okay, of all time.
Yale professor Thomas States won the 2009 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for determining the structure of this organelle. For 10 points each, name these organelles that translate mRNAs into polypeptides. The roughness of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is due to these organelles being attached to the ER surface.
Ribosomes, right? Yeah. Ribosomes.
That's correct. The 3' end of an mRNA contains an untranslated tail of this purine nucleotide, a cyclic form of which is a common second messenger. It has 2 fewer phosphate groups than the product of oxidative phosphorylation. Answer?
Adenine.
This is AMP, or adenosine monophosphate. Before a translated polypeptide becomes functional, it must undergo this process, in which its conformation changes, possibly aided by chaperone proteins. Predicting how this will happen is a difficult, unsolved problem.
Protein folding.
Halftime takes place after the 10th toss-up and its corresponding bonus are read, though if the toss-up goes unanswered, it takes place directly after the toss-up. There is always a score check at halftime. At this point, coaches can also choose to make substitutions.
Will either team be substituting players?
Yes, we will.
No substitutions for us, thanks.
The role of a coach during a match is to make decisions about substituting players, as well as to give pep talks when necessary. The more important responsibilities of a coach, however, are outside the game room, preparing his or her players for competitions through team practices and studying strategies.
And that's the end of the round. I have a final score of 335 for Johnson and 285 for Smith. Good job, guys.
At the end of the game, the moderator confirms the score with both teams. If there is a tie, tiebreaker rules are followed, which may vary from tournament to tournament. The teams shake hands and continue to their next games. For more information about Quizbowl, please consult the online resources listed in the video description. Thanks for watching.